Hey, welcome back, kiddos, for week 5 of Breaking News. I'm Eric.
And I'm Gabrielle. And before we jump into our lesson today, we wanted to take a minute to say happy late Thanksgiving. We hope you guys had an awesome Thanksgiving. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, our turn and talk for today is what's your favorite part of your family's Thanksgiving tradition? So Eric, what's yours?
I like the tradition of mashed potatoes and eating them because they are delicious.
Yep. Mine's also a food one. My family makes the best stuffing, and I love it so much.
Sounds
It's the
so good.
best thing on the table.
I love it.
All right, turn and talk to someone near you and tell them what your favorite part of your family's Thanksgiving is.
All right, let's sing this together. I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty graves and treasures the faith are never enough. Then you came along, put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Sing, there's nothing, oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. And I'm not afraid.
Eric, all month long, we've been talking about the prophets, sharing breaking news with the people around them. And that news was usually about people turning from their selfish ways and turning back to God and God's ways. Who is the last prophet we're going to be learning about this month?
Today, we will hear some news from the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah had a lot to say. His book in the Bible has 66 chapters.
That's a lot of breaking news.
Oh yeah. Isaiah wrote the breaking news we're looking at today in the form of a prayer to God. Let's take a minute to read Isaiah's prayer and see what we can learn from it. Read Isaiah 64, 1 through 7 with your class. Isaiah is asking God for help in remembering how God has helped the people in the past. Isaiah knows that if we wait for God, He will show up because He is faithful. Isaiah also recognizes that all people are sinners. We all do things that God doesn't want us to do, and that our sin puts our barrier between us and God.
So basically, Isaiah is saying that even though the people, and really us, have seen God's power before, sometimes the things we do that don't please God make us feel like God is far away, even when He isn't.
Exactly. But Isaiah doesn't stop there. Keep reading what he had to say in Isaiah 64, verses 8 through 9. Isaiah asks God for mercy and forgiveness for sinning.
So we probably also need to ask God for forgiveness when we mess up, right?
Yeah, that's right. We need to be faithful to God as God has been faithful to us. God wants us to live faithfully. Isaiah reminded the people and us to be faithful to God, even when it's hard.
Isaiah's message seems pretty similar to the messages of the other prophets and their breaking news, right?
Yeah, God didn't think Israel's actions were all that great, according to Isaiah's message. But we see that Isaiah also reminds everyone of the good things God has done. Sometimes we think things are difficult. We have to remember the good things God has done for us and other people.
So the things that God has done in the past remind us that God is faithful and can be counted on in the future no matter what.
Yeah, God will always come through for us. Take a look at these two pictures, okay? Which chair would you rather sit in? Which would you trust more to hold you up?
The big comfy one, obviously.
Right, you can tell that chair is way more trustworthy because it is more durable and sturdy. God is trustworthy and faithful, but we need to be faithful too. God gives us an example of faithfulness that we can follow.
So what does it mean exactly for us to be faithful?
Okay, when we live the way God wants us to live, it's like we're making a pinky promise to God. The way we remain faithful to God is by doing the very things we've talked about during the past month, worshiping sincerely and letting God guide us.
That's so helpful. You know who else might have something to add to this lesson?
Who?
Carl.
Yep.
Let's go watch Grow TV and see what he's learning from our story.
All right.
Breaking news! Carl, myself, has received a piece of mail from himself, and he'll be reading it this evening. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Grow TV. Hosted by Carl, where we have fun with our friends, talk about Jesus, and go over everything the Bible has to offer. Now once again, welcome to Grow TV.
Y'all, I am so excited. Let me tell you why. So 1 year ago, I wrote a very special letter to a very special someone in my life. Someone who I love, who I look up to tremendously. Someone who will always have a very special place in my heart. This person's name? Carl. Me. It's me. I was talking about me. So you're probably wondering, Carl, why'd you write yourself a letter? What I did was wrote down some goals and dreams I hope to get done within 1 year. Then I promised myself I would work really hard to reach all my goals and to accomplish all my dreams.
Hey Carl,
Cassie, how are you?
I'm good. You know what today is, right?
Is it Iron Man's birthday?
No, you know that's in April. No, today is 1 year since we wrote letters to ourselves.
I know, right? I'm so excited. Want to read yours first?
Sure. I hope I kept a promise to myself and finished all the things that I hope to do.
Me too.
Alrighty. Let's see here. My #1 goal was to finish schooling. Done. #2 was to get my dream job. Done. Number 3 was to go skydiving. That was a crazy day. Number 4, finish my first marathon, did that. And finally, number 5, learn how to speak Icelandic.
You didn't do that, did you?
Yup.
Wow, you accomplished everything.
Yeah, I guess I did. That's awesome.
That is awesome. I bet I did the same thing.
No other way to find out. Let's see.
All right, let's take a look. Goal number 1 of the thing I wanted to accomplish this past year is learn how to juggle.
Did you learn how to juggle?
Sure did.
Let's see it then.
Well, I don't have 3 random things that I could juggle, so. All right, here we go. Juggling time. Yep. Okay.
It's okay. I'm sure you accomplished the rest. What are they?
You're right. Missing one isn't bad. Number 2, get a haircut. Oh.
I like your long hair.
Number 3, get rid of your glasses and start wearing contacts. Man.
Contacts can be more expensive over time, so if you think about it, you're saving money.
Number 4, become a millionaire.
Sorry, Carl.
What do you mean, sorry? How do you know I'm not a millionaire?
I mean, I had to give you 75 cents last week so you could buy some chicken nuggets.
Oh, what's the use? I failed myself. I didn't accomplish my dreams. I broke my promise to myself. Man.
Carl, it's gonna be okay.
How? I broke my promise. I wasn't faithful to the goals I set for myself.
Well, it's funny you use that word,
Which word?
the word faithful, because that's something I've wanted to talk to you about today.
What about it?
Well, I was reading in Isaiah chapter 64 today, and I came across some verses that really made me think.
Really? What was it about?
Well, Isaiah wrote about how great God is and how powerful God can be.
That all sounds good.
But then he also wrote about how much we've all messed up and been distracted from what we're supposed to do, and that's worship God.
I mean, I get that, but what's that got to do with me?
Well, you mentioned that you weren't faithful to the goals you set, and you disappointed yourself, right?
I sure did.
Well, unfortunately, that's gonna happen. We will mess up and fail, but that's not where it's gonna end.
Well, what do we do then?
We try. We try to do a better job of being faithful, not only to ourselves, but to God. And when we fail, we try harder. The important part is to keep on trying.
That sounds good, but it also sounds tiring though.
It might be sometimes, but we choose to be faithful to God because God was faithful to us first. And God wants us to be people of our word too.
Like, not lying stuff?
That and staying faithful to God. God never stops loving us, so we need to keep on following and loving God. Sometimes things happen that we can't explain, things that aren't so great, but we can't turn on God like people in the Bible did sometimes. We have to trust that no matter what happens, God is always
Faithful!
That's right. Listen, maybe you didn't keep all your promises that you made to yourself 1 year ago, but if they're that important to you, you can keep at it until you meet those goals. That's what being faithful is all about. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that you and I can be faithful like God is faithful.
Well, I don't know much, but I do know that that is the truth. And that's also our big idea. Today's big idea is I can be faithful like God is faithful.
So let's say it out loud on the count of 3. 1,
2, 3. I can be faithful like God is faithful. Yes, yes, yes. I can. She can. You can. Be faithful. Just do it. Nike.
So Carl, are you ready to make a list of new goals?
I sure am. Number 1, learn how to juggle some chainsaws.
I don't think that's such a good idea.
You're right. Learn how to juggle chainsaws on fire.
Oh no. I guess we'll see you next week, kids.
It's dangerous, but it's captivating. Yeah.
Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for a new episode of Row TV.
All right, guys. Now, before we jump into our game, let's take a moment and pause so we can discuss what you guys heard about with your class today. Gabrielle, do you know what time it is?
It's 2:19.
No, it's game time.
Yes, it is game time, and I know what game we're playing today. Today, you guys are gonna play a game that I love. It's called Captain's Orders. So here's how it works. You pick one person in your class to be the captain, and the rest of you are all on the ship with said captain, and you're the crew. So you start by lining up in front of your captain, and your captain's gonna start giving you commands quite quickly, I might add. And you need to do your very best to follow the commands. So you'll start out simply with things like port or stern. So if he says port or she says port, you're gonna run to the side of your class that you decide is the port side. And if they say stern, you'll run to the side of your class that is the stern side. But then you're gonna start adding more complicated things like captain on deck, where you all need to line up in front of the captain and salute. Or seasick, where you need to pretend that you're throwing up overboard. Things like that, and your teacher is gonna have all kinds of different commands for you to play, and you're gonna do your best to follow along, because if you mess up, you're out for the round.
How fun.
Good luck.
Good luck.